You ever go to the doctor's office and you're scared because you don't know what the diagnosis is going to be? Well, today we're going to go over Charles Cullen.
We here at Angry Me Production want to thank our sponsor, Mobile Notary Mindy. She's certified with the National Notary Association. She's also bonded and E&O insured. She offers a wide range of services including wills, powers of attorney, medical documents, healthcare proxies, living wills, certification of trust, assignment of personal property, HIPAA waivers, advanced healthcare directives, and 99 verification. You can find her on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Mobile Notary Mindy. You can also visit her webpage at texasmobilenotarymindy.com. That's TX, mobilenotarymindy.com. Thank you so much and enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Me Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Yes, today we're going to go over another nurse killer. I've gone over a few of these. I don't have anything against nurses or anything, and most of these nurses, I've talked to Andrea up late on this one, and yeah, nurses are scary. And I talked to her boyfriend BC Sanders about this. I was like, whatever you do, just realize if you make her angry, she knows how to take you out and put you back together. Anyways, I just love that joke. Anyways, let us begin. Charles Cullen was born February 22nd, 1960 in West Orange, New Jersey. He was raised in a working-class Catholic family as the youngest of 8 children. God, that's a lot of kids. His father, Edmund, was a bus driver, died at September 17th, 1960. When Charles was only 7 months old, Cullen later described his childhood as miserable and claimed to have been constantly bullied by his schoolmates and sister's boyfriends. When he was at age 9, he made his first many suicide attempts by drinking chemicals from a chemistry set. Cullen's mother, Florence Cullen, was born in England and immigrated to the United States after the World War II. She was considered a war bride. When she was killed in a car accident in December 6, 1977, Cullen, then 17 years old, was at the time a senior in high school. Cullen recalled his mother's death as being devastating and described being upset that the hospital did not immediately inform him of her death and cremated her body instead of returning it. Following year, Cullen graduated the West Orange High School and enlisted in the United States Navy. He served abroad as a submariner in the USS Woodrow Wilson. He successfully passed basic training and psychological examinations required for submarine crews. who are expected to spend long times, at least 2 months at the time, being submerged in a capsule vessel. Cullen rose to the ranks of petty officer second class as part of the team that operated the vessel's Poseidon missiles. He did not fit in during his time in the Navy, and he was hazed and bullied by the other crewmen. A year into his service, Cullen, leading petty officer abroad, Woodrow Wilson, discovered him sitting at his missile controls wearing a surgical mask, gloves, and scrubs rather than his uniform. Cullen was disciplined by his actions, but never explained why he was dressed that way. The Navy reassigned Cullen to a low pressure job in the supply ship U.S. Cannabis. Is that cannabis? Hold on. I'm going to. Stephanie Hawking, please. Oh, that's not giving me that. Hold on real quick. Guess it's cannabis. He attempted suicide and was committed to the Naval Psychiatric Ward several times over the subsequently few years. Cullen received a medical discharge from the Navy in 1984 for his undisclosed reasons, which is probably just his mental health, depression, and the suicide stuff. Shortly after his discharge, Cullen enrolled in Mountainside Hospital nursing school in Montclair, New Jersey. Elected president of his nursing class, he graduated in 1986 and started working at a burn unit at St. Barbosa Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey. Meanwhile, Cullen met and married Ann Burm. In 1987, their daughter, the first of two girls who was born later, however, Cullen's wife became increasingly disturbed at his unusual behavior and abuse of the family dog. In 1993, she filed a restraining order against him based on her fears that he might endanger her or her two children. And she claimed that Cullen had spiked people's drink with lighter fluid, burning his daughter's books, and left his daughter with a bitter city for a week. Cullen denied these claims, saying that his wife was astringent. And nevertheless, she continued to insist that Cullen was mentally ill. Well, good on instincts, ma'am. The first murders, which Cullen later confessed, occurred in St. Barbosa on June 11th, 1988. He administered a lethal dose of intravenous medication to a patient. Cullen eventually admitted to the killings of several other patients at St. Barbara's, including an AIDS patient who died after Cullen gave him an overdose of insulin. Yes, you can overdose on insulin. Cullen left St. Barbosa in January 1992 when the hospital authorities began investigating contaminated IV bags. The investigation later determined that Cullen was most likely been responsible, resulting in a dozen patients' deaths at the hospital. After a month of leaving St. Barbosa, Cullen took a job at Warren Hospital in Pittsburgh, New Jersey. I didn't know Pittsburgh had a New Jersey had a Pittsburgh. That's kind of interesting because there's a Dallas. There's a Dallas in Georgia, small town, but anyways, I digress. Where he murdered three elderly women with an overdose of heart medication, digoxin. His first victim said that a sneaky male nurse had injected her while she was sleeping. However, family members and health care providers at the hospital dismissed her comment as unfounded. If you did a little, I understand when I say this, that a little bit of investigation. I'm curious at heart. I when I was working corrections, if I saw a little blood, I would track the blood, like a bloodhound. And a lot of times I couldn't find it, and I talked to my supervisor at the time about it, and I was like, "Hey, I followed it to this," and I checked the guy, and he wasn't cut or anything. But it's just take a little bit of steps sometimes. Some people don't want to be bothered with that. Anyways, the following year, Cullen moved into a basement apartment in Pittsburgh. After continues his door from after his divorce from his wife, Cullen later claimed that he had wanted to quit nursing in 1993, but the court ordered child support payments, forced him to continue working. In March 1993, Cullen broke into his co-worker's home while she was her and her son was asleep, but left without waking them. He began stalking the woman, who filed a police report against him. Cullen subsequently pleaded guilty to trespassing and receiving 1 year of probation. The day after his arrest, he made another suicide attempt. Cullen took 2 months off from work and was treated for depression in 2 psychiatric facilities. However, his attempted to suicide twice more by the end of that year. That September, a 91-year-old cancer patient from Warren Hospital reported that Cullen, who is not her assigned nurse, had come to her room and injected her with a needle. She died the next day. Her son protested that her death was not natural, and the hospital administration administered a lie detector test to Cullen and several other nurses, which he passed. Cullen continued his work in Warren until the following spring. And I hate to tell you this right now, lie detector tests don't work at all. There's many factors saying actually they're not even admissible in court. That's how faulty they are. There's so much stuff that can go against a lie detector test. A lie detector test just tests blood pressure, basically. It's any kind of movement or everything. You can serial killers and not serial killers, psychopaths and sociopaths can easily pass those tests. Anyways, Cullen began a 3-year stint in an intensive care unit in Holton Medical Center from Flemington, New Jersey. He claimed that he did not harm anyone during the first 2 years of Holton. However, hospital records for the period had been destroyed at the time as of his arrest in 2003. Cullen admitted that to murdering 5 patients between January and September of 1996. Again, with overdose of dioxin. He then found work at Morristown Memorial Hospital, but was fired for poor performance. Cullen remained unemployed for 6 months and stopped making child support payments. After seeking treatment for his depression at Warren Hospital emergency room, he briefly attended a psychiatric facility. In February 1998, Cullen was hired by Liberal Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Oaktown, Pennsylvania, where he was staffed a ward of respirator-dependent patients. There, he was accused of giving patients drugs in unscheduled times. He was fired after being seen entering a patient's room with a syringe in his hand, an encounter that left the patient with a broken arm. Cullen caused a patient's death at Liberty Hospital, which he was blamed on another nurse. After leaving Liberty, Cullen was employed at Easton Hospital in November 1998 to March 1999. On December 30th, 1998, he murdered another patient. A coronary blood test showed lethal dioxin in a patient's blood, but an internal investigation within Essen Hospital was inconclusive. Evidence did not definitely point to Cullen as the murderer. I wonder what's dioxin. We're going to learn some stuff real quick. Let us use the Googles. Dioxin is used to improve the strengthening and effectiveness of a heart or to control the rate and rhythmic beat. Okay, so basically he was giving these people heart attacks. That's interesting. Even with the history of his mental instability, number of deaths during his employment at the various hospitals, Cullen continued to find work because of a national shortage of nurses, which we have now. So be careful out there. Be vigilant. Additionally, no reporting mechanisms yet existed to identify nurses with mental health or employment problems. Liability concerns made hospitals unwilling to take significant actions against Cullen. That's sad, and it is very true. Most people don't. Most companies don't take actions on people's only because they're scared of their own business, which is really sad. But it happens. I wish it didn't. I mean, you wish as much as you possibly want, but it doesn't make it happen or true. Just if you feel uncomfortable with the person, just go away from that person. In March 1999, Cullen took a job at a burn unit in Alltown, Lee Valley Hospital in Cedar Chest, where he murdered one patient and attempted to murder another one. 1 month later, a volunteer resigned from Lee Valley Hospital and took a job in the cardiac care unit in St. Luke Hospital in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. During the subsequent years, Cullen murdered at least 5 patients and is known to attempt to kill 2 more. On January 11, 2000, he once again attempted suicide by lighting a charcoal grill in his bathtubs in hopes to succumb to carbon monoxide poisoning. Jesus. Sweet baby. Jesus. Lighting a charcoal grill. Oh. Okay. That is just hilarious. His neighbors smelled smoke and called the fire department and police. Cullen was taken to the hospital and psychiatric facility, but returned home the following day. Man, at least okay. My deal with suicide: don't do it because you don't know. You don't understand your future. Wait it out. I mean, there's some people that are living with pains and stuff like that. This guy, on their hand, should have succeeded in his attempt at age 9. I know that's horrible for me to say, but yeah, he should have freaking succeeded at age 9. No one suspected Cullen for the murders in St. Luke's until a coworker found medication vials in a disposal bin. The drugs were not valuable outside the hospital, and since they were not used for recreational use, the theft was highly unusual. And an investigation showed that Cullen had taken the medication. He was offered a deal by St. Luke's to resign and give a neutral recommendation, or to be fired. His resignation and was escorted from the building in June 2002. 7 of his co-workers at St. Luke's later alerted the Lee County District Attorney of their suspicions that he had used these drugs to kill patients. Investigators never looked into the Cullen's past, and the case was dropped 9 months later for lack of evidence. In September 2002, Cullen began working at a critical care unit. God, I just wish they had like a big database at this time. It was 2000s. The internet was around, but just sorry. Anyways, he began working in a critical care unit of Somerset Medical Center in Somerville, New Jersey. He began dating a local woman around then, but his depression worsened. Cullen had killed at least 13 patients, attempting to kill at least one more in mid-2003 using Diggs toxin, insulin, and epinephrine. On the June 18, 2003, he successfully attempted to murder Somerset patient Philip Gregor, who was later discharged and died 6 months later of natural causes. Somerset began to notice Cullen's wrongdoings when he accused the room and computerized records of patients to whom he was not assigned. The hospital computerized drug dispensary cabinet showed that he requested medication that his patient had not been prescribed. His drug requests included many others that were immediately canceled. Modern technology messes up his schemes. People worried about AIs. His drug request. But in July 2003, the executive director of New Jersey Poison Information and Education System warned Somerset officials that at least 4 prescription overdose indicated the possibility that an employee was killing patients. By October, Cullen had killed at least 5 more patients and attempted to kill another one. When a patient at Somerset died of low blood sugar in October 2003, the hospital alerted New Jersey State Police. That patient was Cullen's final victim. State's official castigated the hospital for failing to report non-fatal incident overdoses administered by Cullen in August. An investigation into the employment history revealed passive suspicions about his involvement in patients' death. Somerset fired Cullen in October 31st, 2003. Obviously lying on his job application, Somerset nurse Amy Longren. Anyways, co-worker of Cullen who had been friendly with him for a while, they worked together in Somerset, alerted the police after she became alarmed about Cullen's records of accessing drugs and his link to patients' deaths. Police kept him under surveillance for several weeks until they finished their investigation. Investigators assigned Lauren to visit Cullen after work hours and talk to him while she wore a wire. With that evidence, police had proceeded enough probable cause to arrest. During the arrest and sentencing, Cullen was arrested at a restaurant on December 12th, 2003, and charged with a 1 count of murder and 1 count of attempted murder on December 14th. He admitted to homicide detectives Dan Baldwin and Tim Burren that he had murdered Flannan Gell and attempted to murder Jim Kong Han. Wow, that was okay. I'm surprised I did that one. Both of whom were patients at Somerset. In addition, Cullen told the detectives that he'd murdered at least 40 patients of his 16-year career. In April 2004, Cullen pleaded guilty before Judge Paul Armstrong in New Jersey's court to killing 13 patients and attempting to kill 2 others with lethal injection. While he is employed at Somerset, part of the plea agreement, Cullen promised to cooperate with authorities if they did not sink the death penalties of his crimes. Good. Okay. He didn't want to get the death penalty, but he tried to kill himself several times since he was 9. What a piece of shit. Well, they would have succeeded in the death penalty. I didn't want that, but I just liked being choked. That's all he had to say, is he liked the excitement of almost dying. A month later, he pleaded guilty to the murder of 3 more patients in New Jersey. In November 2004, Cullen pleaded guilty in a Alton Town court, killing 6 patients and trying to kill 3 others. He repeatedly interrupted the proceedings by taunting the judge with the chant, "Your Honor, I need to step down." Cullen was ordered to be restrained and gagged on March 2nd, 2006. Cullen was sentenced to 18 successive life sentences by Judge Armstrong in New Jersey. He was not eligible for parole until June 10th, 2403. Sweet baby G, just wow. Okay, he's going to die in jail. Currently, he has held in New Jersey State Prison in Tinston, New Jersey. On March 10th in 2006, Cullen was brought into the courtroom of Lee County, Pennsylvania. Presiding judge William H. Pratt for the sentencing hearing. Cullen's upset with the judge, kept repeating, "Your Honor, you need to step down," for 30 minutes until Platt had Cullen gagged with a cloth and duct tape. Even after being gagged, Cullen continued to repeat the phrase. And that hearing, Platt gave him an additional 6 life sentences. As part of a plea agreement, Cullen had been working with law enforcement officials to identify additional victims. God damn. I mean, seriously, if you he tried to commit suicide several times, and yes, this episode is going to get flagged. I don't care. But he kept on trying to commit suicide. They should have just, you know what? You got all the victims? Okay, awesome. Well, we're gonna kill you. We don't care about you anymore. And in hindsight, the reason why they do this, and this is, I asked a couple of judges about this. The reason why they do this is if they say they have more victims, they want the it's basically a family thing. They want to give the family reassurance of the person's death, that more or less give the family justice. That's what it is. And I'm sorry if someone coming to me, I was like, "Hey, we think someone killed your family member. We're trying to get information." It's like, "Is he on the death penalty?" Yeah. Well, it's not. I was like, "Just kill him. Just get rid of the problem." I know that there's certain circumstances of the legal systems and everything that I do not like, but I understand. I go in, try to figure out why they do this stuff. But anyways, but his motives for this, Cullen stated that he had overdosed patients to spare them from being going into cardiac arrest or respiratory arrest by giving them a cardiac arrest. Okay, yeah, all right. He told detectives that he could not bear to witness or to hear about attempts about saving a victim's life. Basically, he wanted to be death. Cullen also stated that he had given patients overdose that so that he could end their suffering and prevent the hospital personnel from dehumanizing them, humanitizing them, basically treat them like trash. However, not all the victims were terminal patients. Some, like Gail, had been expected to recover before Cullen killed them. The nurse, Lee Tester, described many of the victims as people on the mend in a police interview. Apparently, Cullen was a horrible nurse and couldn't see that, or he's just an asshole. Anyways, investigators stated that Cullen may have been caused patients to suffer, but did not realize it, which contracted his claims of wanting to save patients. Similarly, Cullen told investigators that although he often observed patients suffering for several days, the decision to commit each murder was performed on impulse. Cullen told detectives on December 2003 that he lived most of his life in a fog and that he blocked out memories of murdering most of his victims. He said that he could not recall many he killed or why he had chosen them. In some cases, Cullen admittedly denied committing any murders at a given facility. However, after reviewing medical records, he admitted that he'd been involved in patients' death. Now, there is legal impact of this. Cullen moved from facility to facilities undetected, mainly because of the lack of requirements to report suspicious behaviors by medical workers and consequently legal obligations on employers. New Jersey and Pennsylvania, like most other states, required healthcare facilities to report suspicious deaths only in the most egregious case. And patients for penalties for failing to report incidents were minor. Also, many states did not give investigators the legal authorities to discover workers' previous employers. Employers feared investigation incidents or given a bad employment reference for fear of such action triggered lawsuits. According to detectives and Cullen's himself, several hospitals suspected him of harming or killing patients but failed to appropriate legal actions. After Cullen's criminal convictions, many of the hospitals that he had worked were sued by families of his victims. The files of these settlements against New Jersey hospitals, and which all of which were settled out of court and were sealed. In some cases, individual workers took it upon themselves to try to prevent Cullen from being hired or to have him terminated. Some of them contacted nearby hospitals in secret and quietly spoke to their superiors to alert them not to hire Cullen. When Cullen took a job at Sacred Heart Hospital in Allentown in June 2001, a nurse who had heard rumors about him at Easton Hospital advised her coworkers. The nurses threatened to quit EMS if Cullen was not immediately dismissed, which he was promptly by the Cullen case. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and 35 other states adopted new laws which encouraged employers to give honest appraisals of workers' job performance and provide legal protection for reporting medical errors. New Jersey laws, in particular, formed a model for other states to follow. Firstly, the 2004 Patient Safety Act increased hospitals' responsibility for reporting serious preventable adverse events. In 2005, Enhancement Act, a supplement to the Patient Safety Act, required hospitals to report certain details on their employees to New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs and mandated that compliance and disciplinary records rely to patients' care to keep for at least 7 years. 7 years. Now, saying that and finishing this up, yeah, God, wow. Now this is my opinion time, and sometimes I give my opinion while I'm doing the podcast or doing these little episodes. And yes, this, I mean, the lighting a charcoal grill in a bathtub so you could suffocate. These are, and I'm gonna link the suicide hotline on this, but please, if you have a problem and you feel depressed and everything, please seek help. That's what I'm saying on this one. Please seek help. Me personally, my mom did commit suicide. She was on oxys, and they took her off. She had back problems, all kinds of stuff went with it, and she was already depressed. She had made what I found out later after her passing was she attempted to commit suicide a couple of times in her lifetime, and my father finally told me fully. Was I upset with him a little bit? Yes, I was upset with him. It happens. But please seek help. You don't know what kind of happiness you bring to other people until you pass. And well, you won't even know after that. I bet there's people out there that consider you a great person if you actually listen to them. I'm saying that. But this guy should have done it. This guy should have hands down done it. Yeah, we're going to laugh about that one. But he should have fucking killed himself at age 9. I mean, honestly. And all of his attempts. Now, there's two, like, suicide type people. There's one person that really has to have help with their depression and to go forth after that. Now, there's other people that use suicide as a attention grabber. and they just basically want attention, and they attempt and they attempt, and one day their attempts are done. They go a little bit too far and they actually die. And there are people like that. I've known people like that, and my God, I hate those people, because I've dealt with people that really need a handout. They really need your hands out there, and giving them encouragement and lifting them up. There are other people out there that just they use it as an excuse. They basically go out and they just wanted attention. But anyways, keep it safe out there. Like I said, if you're in one of those places that you need someone to talk to and everything, come to me. I don't care. Don't try to leave a comment on YouTube if you can. Hopefully I see it. Give me 48 hours, because the comment stuff on YouTube, I guess the only real explanation I can get on this is it takes it a while to run through to give me a notification on YouTube. But we have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. I don't know how Rumble works with that stuff. I really don't pay attention to that one, so don't go to there. But Instagram, Rumble, email. I get the emails really fast. I get the stuff. Instagram's not that really reliable for me. But Facebook Messenger, email. Like I said, if you need someone to talk to and everything like that, man, I'll send you a link for stream volume. Won't go on air or anything like that. We'll just have a good chat. I've spent 5-6 hours chatting with people because they just needed to be talked to, and it helps them out, and I'm glad to do that. It's a little bit of extra stuff I can do with this stuff. Love you guys. Take care.